Hello and welcome back, everybody. This is Tyler Weeb from Pro Physique, and today we're going to talk about whether or not you have to count your macros to make progress. So, can you just eat clean to make progress, or can you just not count to make progress? So, kind of two different scenarios, and I believe that both of those can be vastly different. Depending on which approach you take. So let's tackle the first one. Can you just eat clean and make progress? Probably not. And why is that? It's because typically people just automatically assume that because they are eating healthy or they are eating clean, that they can just eat as much as they want of those foods. Or, well, I've eaten clean all week, now I can go crazy on the weekend. I can reward myself for eating clean all week. So there is quite a mental attitude towards, the clean eating in that sense, in that, if you could be overeating, even if you are eating, clean foods, healthier foods, that it's still possible to overeat for your metabolism. And if you are overeating, no matter what you're eating, you are still not going to make progress in a fat loss phase. If your goal is to put on muscle, well then, I guess you do want to be overeating, but you don't actually know if you're overeating because you don't know how much you're consuming. For me, I know that was a huge thing when I was kind of really into the clean eating, is I wasn't measuring anything out. I was just throwing food in and just assuming because I ate it that I was going to build on muscle. And now I look back on it and I probably wasn't getting near enough food that I actually should have been to actually making the progress that I actually wanted. Especially with protein. I was probably under eating my protein by quite a bit. But again, I had no idea, just because I assumed because I was eating clean, healthy foods that, I was just going to make the progress that I wanted. And so we can see that, just because you say, oh, well, I need to eat healthy, or I eat healthy, why am I not making progress? Well, it's probably because, one, you're probably eating a lot more than you actually think you are. Two, you're probably rewarding yourself on the weekends because you've eaten so well throughout the week. And so just by eating clean, you're just probably not going to make progress. You might see some, but long-term progress is probably not going to happen. Okay, so second scenario, I like to call intuitive eating. So what this is a person who has tracked macros in the past diligently, and they have a very good understanding of how much carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are in foods. And so they can actually intuitively kind of look at some food, guess at the weight, and roughly figure out the macros that are in there. And what they can do is they can check it on themselves, once a week or once every 2 weeks, just to see where they're at, making sure that they're still close to where their number should be. Now, for fat loss, this is probably not going to be the greatest idea, just because we do need to make sure that we are creating a caloric deficit when we are trying to lose fat. But if we are looking just to maintain, maybe put on some muscle, this is going to probably be an okay thing, or an okay approach to go about it. Now, it may not be the best approach, but for some people, they just might not want to spend the time tracking your food, weighing it all out, and all of that. And so something like intuitive eating, if they have tracked macros in the past and they are very comfortable with what is in food, then this is definitely a viable option. Again, it is not something that I would maybe recommend if you are really serious about wanting to make progress in the gym. Counting macros is still going to be, your best bet, because you're always going to know how much food you are intaking, and you can make adjustments based upon that, and then other measurements like the weight, like the scale once a week. So Do you need to count macros to make progress? I would lean more towards, yeah, it's probably going to be a necessary thing. And to be honest, it is hard when you first start. But once you start to get the hang of it, it's very easy. It's very quick. All food tracking can be done on your phone, so you can have it right there. You don't have to go back and forth in between your computer, pen and paper. You can create custom foods. It's very easy to do once you actually really get the hang of it. And so, whether you are in a fat loss phase, whether you are maintaining, I would say is probably the best time to do some intuitive eating, just to kind of maintain your weight. If you are fine with how much food you're consuming and where you're at body composition wise, but fat loss and or building muscle, you are probably going to be best off to count your macros. Definitely in a fat loss phase. You could probably get away with a little more intuitive eating while you are building muscle, just as long as you are not really overshooting and putting on body fat, which is something that we don't really want to do a lot of while we are trying to build muscle. So if you think that you can just eat certain foods or eat a certain way, not really know how much you're intaking and make progress, that is probably not going to happen. You do need to know how much you're consuming, because at the end of the day, that is what's going to matter the most. Okay? All right, guys. That is going to be everything today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you have any questions about training, nutrition, or anything like that, just shoot me an email at tyler@prophysique.com. Love to hear from you guys. Have a great Friday.